we are proud of it.
I find it so like interesting that, I mean, Lima is a such a large city, right? Such a large population, and still maybe there are things that are waiting to happen for the service to begin in official format. But I'm also reading about El Metropolitano, which is the bus system, right?
Oh yeah, it's some kind of, well, it's based on buses, but with um, exclusive highway.
Mm-hmm.
Only these buses can only these buses can can run or
Drive on
can
those, travel on
can
those.
drive on,
Uh-huh.
yeah, can drive on this on those highways.
Mm-hmm.
And if you car in that, you will have a ticket, maybe $100 or $200,
Oh, wow.
maybe more. Yes, it's exclusive for this, just for ambulance maybe, or for the police or something special, but only for those. And it's supposed to we should have 7 lines of
Mm-hmm.
the of this kind of buses, and we have one again. And it's supposed that this current mayor, have to build one, but she
Mm-hmm.
didn't. She didn't because, well, she's don't know how to. No, it's not to be lazy, but she's not efficient.
She's not official.
She's not efficient.
Uh-huh. Nicolas de Rivera? No, that's the first guy ever. Susana Villarán de la Puente.
Yeah, this is our mayor.
No.
And yeah, the previous mayor was another one, Luis Castañeda.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm not his fan, but of course he was more efficient. Well,
Uh-huh.
anyone could be more efficient than this one.
Ah.
So we're hoping to this year end very fast and have a new mayor soon. Doesn't matter who, but please another mayor.
Susana is the first female mayor of Lima.
Yes,
Yep.
but don't know what it
There
has
was
to
a better
do.
option. There
Really?
were there were two women that were postulating.
That were
They,
running for the
yeah,
office.
that
Uh-huh.
they were running.
Uh-huh.
I vote for the other one, but
Lourdes Flores?
yeah,
Lourdes
Yeah,
Flores.
me
but there
too.
was a bad campaign against her, and then at the end it won the other lady.
Susana Villarán doesn't seem very like she doesn't seem like she's a very like a leader woman. She seems very like just a normal person.
Well, what happens that she has no experience in this kind of activities.
Uh-huh.
She, we can say that she found the mayor, the city hall. She was not in the plots, in the, how to say, when you ask the people to asking what are they going to vote.
So she wasn't in the ballot, maybe. She wasn't on the original. Do you mean to say that the people didn't think she was going to vote? Or
Yes.
Their
Um,
action plans.
oh, her platform, maybe her platform.
no, the poll.
The
On the
poll, okay.
polls, yeah,
On the polls.
she was at the bottom of the poll
Uh-huh.
because there was this woman, Lourdes Flores, and another competitor.
Uh-huh.
And a few when the election was very close, this other competitor had to leave the competition,
Mm-hmm.
and many people started to vote for her. So suddenly she doesn't know how she founded the city hall. Now she's the mayor, and nobody now knows how
Nobody
she
knows.
got in there.
Ay, ay,
Yeah,
ay.
so she didn't expect it to be the mayor, so she didn't have a very good team, and now these are the consequence. We have to pay the consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about corruption. It's not about nothing at all. It's only that she's inefficient. That's it.
Mm. But
She's inefficient.
she's doing, I guess, some good things about the cultural aspect of the city. That's great. She's doing also some social help. That's also great. But we need also infrastructure. I have problems with that word.
Infrastructure, No, no, you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a more efficient work. So that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, if I talk about my own country, Bangladesh, I think we are trying to make our first metro. We don't even have half a line.
No, what country?
No. If in my parents are from a country called Bangladesh, right?
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
So yeah,
Sorry for the confusion.
no, it's not the U.S., but my country, as in where my parents are from, my heritage, right? All from this country, Bangladesh. We have so many people in our capital city. Our capital city is called Dhaka. Dhaka. It's a little bit. We have different sounds. So DH makes a dha sound, which is not in other languages. Dha. So Dhaka, and yeah, we have maybe 20 million people in the city,
Oh
and
my.
we are trying so hard to make bigger highways, bigger, maybe actually start a metro system, a subway metro system, right? But it's very difficult. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of inefficiency in the system. So people just keep joining our class and leaving. They must be Chilenos.
Don't say that.
I know, I know. I'm just joking. I should continue that from last class. That's not good.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. I was just messing. But anyway, it's funny. Two people joined. I knew the first guy. His name is Claudio. He's from Brazil, and he left. And this other person also left. But we'll wait maybe another 2 more minutes. As we wait though, guys, I'll ask you guys a quick question. So this article is actually about health and fitness, right? It's about health and wellness, I should say, actually. And you know, what pastime do you guys enjoy that always makes you very happy? Something that you like to do that always makes you happy. Let's start with you, Lisa.
In the past,
No, no, no. Anytime, like
ah,
even today. Yeah, pastime.
um, well,
So
uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I think this is where it was confusing. In English, when we say pastime, that means hobby or something you enjoy doing.
Okay, okay.
A pastime. Yeah. So what pastime do you enjoy?
I enjoy riding my bicycle when it's not so cold. I like to do that. I like to, well, the common things, listening to music, uh, sometimes cooking, preparing some desserts.
Like ceviche?
More desserts mostly.
Dessert? Yeah, no, I'm just
Baking,
joking.
baking, to bake,
Baking.
bake.
Baking.
And what
Fantastic.
else? Well, something that I used to do and nowadays I don't do was dancing. I used to take some dance classes. I loved it. Uh,
hmm
Now because of time I don't do it, but I want to go back to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Jose, what about your pastime? What are your favorite pastimes?
Well, aside from petting my dog, maybe listening to some music. Well, spending some time with friends, with family. Nothing special. On the weekends, I always play some soccer with friends. It's a national sport here. It's
hmm
not that soccer with 11 players in that great field. It's a smaller field with only 6 players and have some kind of different rules. Um, don't know what's else. And of course, taking these sessions in Kalingo, these classes. It's a very, how to say, very funny for me. Some classes are very funny. I think
Fantastic.
that's it for now.
That's great. Jackie, welcome to class. How are you today?
Hello, good evening, everybody. I am pretty good, thanks God.
That's awesome. What's your favorite pastime or favorite pastimes, Jackie?
In general,
Yeah, in general.
I think when I succeeded at schools,
Really, that was a good pastime for you?
yes, and when I helped people,
So you like helping people.
yes, and when I did something beneficial to people in general.
Awesome, awesome. That's really good. Uh, Claudio, good to see you again, man.
Oh, hello, Fran. Good to see you again too.
hmm How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm not bad. A
Great, great.
normal day today.
I know, right? Saturday. Thank God. One day, weekend, at least we have 2 days, but the first day is gone. It's a little sad. Uh, so, Claudio, question for you. What's your favorite pastime? What's your favorite activity that you like to do just to relax?
Oh, okay. Oh, I like to surf. I I like to surfing. I like surfing and surfing 3 times.
Surfing, surfing, surfing.
But in the last days, the last months, my favorite pastime is to study English
That's awesome.
because I have been studying a lot and my the most of my free times I am studying.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys,
Sometimes my study work, sometimes it's not work so good.
I know, I know. We are all in that position, I think. Students or anybody who studies for any reason, right? We need to have the motivation to study, really, right? Sometimes we don't have that motivation. We don't have the energy sometimes, so it's difficult. But I'm glad that you're making it to these classes. I've seen you also in a number of my classes, so it's good. Out of you guys, Jackie and Claudio had much more, I think, serious pastimes that are more about helping each other or helping people or helping themselves reach a goal. And Jackie or Jose and Julissa, you guys had more what I would consider, leisure pastimes, right? What you like to do when you are enjoying life, when you are relaxing, right? So people do many different things, right? We pass our time either focusing on objectives, relaxing, having fun. Those are all different examples. Today's class, we will actually be looking at the case of a man who is really um, kind of he's an inspiration to a lot of people. After his article or after his story was published, people have been inspired by his success and by the objective that he set for himself, right? Before we get to that, I wanted to offer you guys just a little bit of an idea, kind of like a teaser of what we're going to be talking about. We are going to discuss adjectives today in today's class, right? And adjectives, the concept behind adjectives is simple. They are words that describe nouns, right? I think you guys have all been in classes in which we talked about adjectives, so I'm not going to spend too much time discussing them, but we can talk about adjectives generally, right? So the first category is adjectives describe nouns, right? Jackie is handsome. Yulisa is beautiful. Uh, I don't know. Claudio is really muscular, ripped. This guy surfs all the time, right? And Jose is handsome and intelligent. I'm giving you two, Jose, 2 for 1, right? So
Nice.
yeah, so these are all ways that we can describe other people, right? So we use the is, am, are verb, the verb to be, to describe people very basically, right? So I'm going to ask all of you guys to just give me a quick example of using an adjective to describe somebody. Let's start with Claudio. Any example. Let's describe somebody.
Oh, sometimes TV shows are boring. Are boring.
Sometimes TV shows are boring. Fantastic, right? Jackie, give me another example.
Some politicians are notorious.
Some politicians are notorious, right? Fantastic. I think that applies across the board, right? All across the world. Jose, what about you? Any other example that you can give me?
Miss Universe is a very beautiful woman.
Miss Universe is a very beautiful woman. Exactly, right? Yulisa, another example.
The weather is cool.
The weather is cool, right? Fantastic. Describing something, someone, some concept using another word, that's an adjective, right? And we can use adjectives for describing other situations as well, especially if we are talking about uh, some concepts. We can actually change the ending of the adjective, and we can make it so that people are, we can talk about people that are feeling a certain way, or any kind of feeling, really. We can use adjectives that end in ed or adjectives that end in ing, right? So for example, adjectives that end in ing. One example is exciting, right? Exciting. Mesmerizing, right? Mesmerizing is another example of a word that we can use to talk about somebody. Like if a girl is very beautiful, her beauty was mesmerizing, right? You can talk about it like that. The movie was very exciting, right? Amazing. It was an amazing night, right? These are all adjectives that end in ing, right? And then for adjectives that end in ed, right, we can actually use these adjectives to describe people, to describe how people were feeling, right? She was excited to meet him. I was amazed by her kindness, right? We're talking about maybe someone who's very kind. I was amazed by her kindness. I was, I was, mesmerized by her beauty, right? All these different ways we can use adjectives to describe feelings, either feelings that we have about other people, or just interesting things that we want to talk about, right? Another one, interesting, right? That's another adjective that we use all the time. Surprising, right? They end in ing. So give me an example. I'll start with Yulisa this time. Yulisa, give me an example using the adjective surprising in a sentence.
Surprising.
Hmm.
Um, they receive a surprising news.
They received surprising news, right? Or they received a surprising piece of news, right?
Peace.
Yeah, so fantastic, right? Both of those work. If it's something is going to surprise somebody, then that's a surprising piece of news, or that's something that we can use the adjective surprising to describe, right? Jose, give me an example with the adjective excited.
Um, they gave an excited. No. Uh, I'm excited. I'm excited about the news.
I'm excited about the news, right? So when we use excited and when we use adjectives that end in ed, we have to have a subject and we have to have a verb before that adjective, right? Usually we use the verb to be, right? We say I am, I was, he was, she was, they were excited. They were amazed. He was surprised, right? So if it ends in an ed, then we have to precede the adjective. Before the adjective, we have to say a subject along with the verb to be, right? Was, is, at, are, were, those kinds of things. So Jackie, give me an example of a sentence using the adjective amazing.
Amazing.
Hmm. That's right.
The food was amazing.
The food was amazing, right? Fantastic. Very short sentence, but gets the point across, right? The food was amazing. The food was, yeah, the food was amazing, works great. And
Appealing.
appealing, yeah, that's another very good adjective, right? The food was appealing, right? It was
What
something.
is appealing? Sorry. What
Appealing.
means appealing?
Appealing means, actually, Jackie, why don't you explain it?
Appealing means that something which something which makes us want it,
Absolutely.
which appeals to us.
Oh, okay. This product, that product have a great appeal.
Yeah.
It's
So the
a
product has a great
popular appeal. Popular appeal.
popular appeal. Exactly. We say
Okay,
that a lot.
okay.
We say that a lot in English, right? That movie had popular appeal. That movie has popular appeal. This
It has
food has
another
popular appeal.
synonym which is
Uh-huh.
attracting, for example. Attracting or attractive.
Attractive, yeah, exactly. Attracting or
Mhm.
attractive, right? So something is attracting you, Claudio. It is also appealing to you, right?
Okay, I understand. I understand this word.
Uh-huh. So Claudio, now
That
give
I
me,
understood. Thank you.
you understood it. Fantastic. Now give me an example, Claudio. I'll give you another question. So let's make a sentence using the adjective interesting.
Interesting. This class is very interesting.
This class is very interesting, right? Fantastic. And so now when we are talking about adjectives, we have one other scenario that I want to talk about. We generally don't use more than 3 adjectives in a sentence, right? If you're talking a lot about something like she is beautiful, kind, generous, wonderful, amazing, right? It gets a little crazy if you're using more than 3 in a sentence. And for example, if you're writing English or if it's a formal kind of document, we try to keep the number of adjectives lower, right? And sometimes we use different nouns can also be used to describe other nouns, just like adjectives, right? So we do have some examples in English in which words are describing other words, but these words are not necessarily adjectives, right? So one example can be sports car, right? A sports car is describing the kind of car, but sports itself is a noun. It's not an adjective, right? Sports car is one example. Another example is, for example, science books, right? Math books, gym shorts. Like when you go to the gym to work out, maybe Claudio knows this. You go to surf, you're wearing surfing gear, right? Maybe a bathing suit. I don't know, or surfing shorts, right? Those are all words that describe that by themselves they are nouns, but they are used to describe other nouns.
Surfing life.
Surfing life.
Yes, it's possible to. It makes sense.
Surfing life wouldn't make sense that much, Claudio, but I
Oh,
think
I have an, I lead my life as a kind of surfing life.
uh-huh.
Makes sense.
You can say it this way. You can say, I live a surfer's life.
Surfer's life. Okay.
But it's really not an adjective in this scenario, because you're saying surfer is a noun, so we're using possession here. Like I live a
Okay.
surfer's life. But it works. It works really well if you want to say that in English. It's a way for other people to know that that's the kind of life you live. You're
Okay, but I can use night, for example, to change the nightlife.
Yeah, you can say nightlife, right? People do say nightlife, right? That's another great example, right? Nightlife. Night is a noun, life is a noun, but night is describing life in this case, right?
It's
Uh,
different of surf in this case because
yeah. Sometimes English is like that, surfer's life, surfing life. Surfing life doesn't work as well, but surfer's life would work for that example. So there you guys have it, right? Adjectives. Basic idea, but we have different scenarios in which we could place them. Sometimes nouns describe nouns, sometimes they end in ing, sometimes they end in ed, right? Many different examples. Do we have any questions about adjectives in general, or any of these specific examples that we looked at?
not.
Okay, Claudio's good. You, Lisa, Jackie, Jose, you guys are all good?
It's okay.
Eh, when you say that sometimes you can have 3 adjectives for a noun, how is that? Can you
Oh,
give an example?
sure. I think what I was trying to say actually was that we shouldn't use more than 3 adjectives in a sentence to describe a noun, right? I mean, like you can talk when people talk, no one really cares, right? We don't really count. But in the lesson, they wanted the lesson to emphasize this point that we typically do not use more than 3 adjectives in a sentence, right? For example, if we are talking about a dress, right? You can say it was a slim red French dress, right? Or you can say, if you're talking about maybe an item, you can say the ugly old plastic box, right? So the order doesn't matter so much, I think, but if you say more than 3 adjectives, the sentence gets too complicated. So maybe in other languages people can add as many adjectives as they want. In English, we try to keep the number to 3 or less. 3 or
Yeah,
3 or fewer. Yeah.
the order must be respected.
The order must be respected to, I guess. Yeah, they do mention the order as being somewhat important, but I don't know if in conversation people really care. Like, I mean, give me an example, Jackie. What's an example of something that if we don't respect the order, then it would not make sense?
For example, a 72-year-old Catholic nun was killed.
A 63-year-old Catholic nun was killed, right?
Yes.
That's a very good point, right? Because you can't say Catholic 63-year-old nun.
Yes.
You're right, right? It's better to say a 63-year-old, age is first, then, for example, the identity, so in this case Catholic, and then the person's noun, the noun describing the person, so in this case a nun, right? So Jackie brings up a good point. Let me then tell you guys about this order. The order is technically, yeah, a little wooden brown chair. Let's see if it respects this order, Yulisa. So the order is opinion, dimension, age, shape, color, origin, material, right? So material is the very last thing. So what is the material in your sentence?
Wooden.
Wooden, right? And what is the color?
Brown.
Brown, right? And what's the size or the shape, I guess, the dimension?
Little.
Little, right? So how would we reorder that sentence?
I think it would be a little brown wooden chair.
A little brown wooden chair. Yeah. That's the right way to describe it, right? Now, I'm thinking about it in the context of conversational English. Jackie's example was brilliant when he was saying the 63-year-old Catholic nun. A little brown wooden chair. Would that work? That's the right way to say it, right?
Farah,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
When we are writing, I don't know, I could say, for example, a little brown wooden chair was really interesting for us. It's normal. I could put another adjective after
Yes.
to
Yes. You absolutely
describe
can.
it, or I need to put in a little wooden brown chair if I would write, I would need to use an interesting little brown wooden chair for us.
For
What's the
example,
more common? I
for
don't know
example,
if I be clear.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great question, Claudio. One adjective that we could add to the sentence would be, right? We're talking about a chair, so we could say a comfortable, right? So a comfortable little brown wooden chair, right? A comfortable little brown wooden chair. It gets crazy, doesn't it, Jackie? 4 adjectives, does it make it more crazy?
Yes. It's very long. Too long.
It gets too long, right? So I think, Claudio, I think that's why in the order that we are saying it, if they are all together, we should stay to 3. We should stick to 3. But afterwards, you can, if you have a group of 3 adjectives, you can easily add an adjective after. So you can say, for example, the little brown wooden chair was very comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Right? So in this sense, you can add more than 3 at a time, but you don't want to put more. You can add more than 3 at a time by putting that fourth adjective somewhere else in the sentence to describe
Okay.
it, right? But the 3 together rule, I don't know. Honestly, Jackie, this is the first time I've ever seen somebody actually make a rule like that, you know? Like, I've seen people, when people talk especially, they talk so many, that girl was beautiful, gorgeous, brilliant, and, you know,
And they add
right?
and.
Exactly, right? So conversationally, there's a lot of differences, I guess. Some people say and between everything. She was beautiful and kind and smart and gorgeous and nice,
Yeah.
I
you
think
know? Yeah.
when they add the word and, even if they don't respect the order, it's correct.
I think that's a good point. Definitely. I think conversationally, I think that makes sense, which was my disconnect, I think. So thank you guys for catching that. It's very good. Any other questions? Do we have any other questions, guys? So this order is really good. Jackie reminded me of how important the order is. And also when we're talking about adjectives in general, some end in ed, some end in ing. They are words that describe other words. And sometimes nouns describe other nouns. So any other questions about this stuff?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, Claudia's okay. I'm gonna just assume that everyone else is okay too, because I really want to get to this article. So I'm going to paste this article, guys, in our window. I'm also gonna screen share real quick so we can all see it. Let's see, where is my window? Okay, fantastic. So now let's open up this article, guys, and let's see what are the 3 P's, right? That's the title of today's class. What are the 3 P's that we are talking about here? So the title of this article is Man Loses 245 Pounds with the 3 Ps. Okay, so take a look at this guy. His name is Marlon Gibson. At the beginning of 2011, he weighed 405 pounds, right? Very big person, definitely. I mean, just taking a look at this picture, we can tell, right? 6 months after he started his diet and exercise regimen, this is how he looked, right? Then by August 2011, which is roughly 6-7 months after he started, this is how he looked again. He can fit into a regular size jacket, a medium jacket. This is him after he came out of the gym. He did 2 70-minute classes back to back. So he was at the gym. This is him today, May 2013, right? Compare this photo, this man right here, with this man. Isn't it incredible?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's completely incredible, right? And this is him
Yeah,
again.
incredible.
Yeah, and this is him again. He's completely, skinny guy, very good-looking guy at this point, right? Here he was a completely different individual. So he lost 240, or he lost maybe close to 300 pounds, right? So let's read what he
Bi-
did, right?
biggest victory.
Biggest victory, exactly. So it says Marlon Gibson weighed 405 pounds at his heaviest. He lost 245 pounds by gradually reducing unhealthy food and exercising. He believes accountability is the key to weight loss, right? So let's start reading. In the 3rd grade, Marlon Gibson was so overweight his mom had to take him to the men's store to buy his Easter suit. Even back then, I absolutely loved clothes, Gibson said. That's what really keeps me honest with all this weight loss. I want to go to the mall to buy more than socks. At his heaviest, he weighed 405 pounds. Now the 5'11" associate director of student conduct at Emory University in Atlanta weighs 160 pounds. That is unbelievable. From 405, he went to 160. Since January 2011, he's lost 245 pounds, or the equivalent of a gas stove. He says anybody can do it this way, without surgery or a special diet program. I always tell people it's the 3 Ps: persistence, passion, and perseverance, Gibson said. The turning point came when the 34-year-old watched his wife tear up during The Biggest Loser. She told me she loved me, but she worried that I wasn't going to be around long because of my weight, Gibson said. I had to do something. Gibson had been heavy all his life. Growing up, none of the adults in his family ever talked to him about healthy eating. They didn't have to, he said. My mom used to joke my dad would get kicked out of buffets. He had such a great appetite and such a great metabolism. He never had to work to be small, Gibson said. My mom was never bigger than a size 6. His mom tried to set a good example with daily exercise. She was the person who got up and did her Jane Fonda video every morning, Gibson said. But he was an only child, and everyone in his family loved or showed their love with food. His grandmother especially doted on him. She would take me to McDonald's nearly every day, Gibson said. I did love a big cheeseburger and fries, and I never met a sweet I didn't like. He wasn't much into sports or exercising either. I never learned to swim at camp because I would get earaches, Gibson said. I remember playing kickball in 2nd grade and broke my pinky finger. And from there on out, when they'd ask me to play, I'd say, nope, I'm good. As he steadily gained weight, Gibson said he was lucky that the kids didn't bully him about it. I've always had a great sense of humor and can deflect the attention from my being obese. The sense of humor also got him into trouble. While attending an all-boys Catholic school in Ohio, known for its orderly discipline, he served a lot of time in detention. But being the class clown also paid off with fast friendships. I'm lucky. People have always been nice, or at least they try to be, Gibson said. People would often give me a backhanded compliment, like, you're handsome for a fat kid. He met his wife Cherie at a fraternity function in 2004. They were in graduate school at the time. They married 2 years later, right? So a lot of the rest of this is actually much more, I mean, it's a longer article. I don't want to focus too much on this stuff. But what he did say was, so he kind of started this transformation after he watched an episode of a TV show called The Big Loser, and now that he's working at a university, he really loves to motivate others and talks about his weight loss at church, and he helps friends, right? And he says this weight loss has transformed his life. It's totally possible. You just have to hold yourself accountable, right? And if we go back to the original 3 Ps, for him, they were persistence, passion, and perseverance, right? So I think it's a very, very, it's a very heartwarming story. I really like the fact that this guy has been able to transform his life. And the questions that I have for you guys, let's try to use adjectives to describe what we want to say. But let's start with you, Claudio. How does this article make you feel? What's your immediate reaction after reading this article?
Well, it's a wonderful article because that guy reached a great victory in front of his life, because it for me was interesting to see how he changed his life.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it was hard? Do you think it was hard?
I try to use the words.
Adjectives, interesting. No, fantastic. You did a good job with that, right? But Claudio, do you think it was a hard transformation for him, or do you think it was easy?
No, I think it's very, very hard. I know one person that, of course, really long of the victory of that guy, because he really was incredible and unbelievable. But I know people that lost 30, I don't know, I don't know about pounds, but in Portuguese we call it kilos.
Kilos,
I don't know.
Everywhere
Yes.
in the world we say kilos, except for America.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my friend lost 30 kilos. Third, I don't know the name. And it read was incredible in my opinion. It was he changed his shape, his life, his way to handle with his life, and he started to take some girls in the goodness of to disperse to call the attention of the girls, and
Hmm.
today he is married. Well, it, I think it's good. The
Yeah.
health life,
He changed his
health
life
life.
completely, right? Yeah, he changed his life completely.
Yes, yes. And he taken a kind of health life and eat with just 30 kilos.
Hmm.
And I don't know how about send 100 kilos. I don't know. It is incredible. Oh, the man is a kind of powerful man.
Yeah, so
Uh,
this guy, he lost 111 kilos.
11. Oh, yes,
111, yeah.
it's wonderful. He was incredible. He was amazing. He was an example.
Fantastic. Yeah, you used a lot of adjectives there, Claudio. He was amazing. He was incredible. And yeah, it is definitely a very inspirational kind of story. It's a very inspiring story, right? Jackie, I mean, do you think it's possible for people to achieve their goals if they follow, for example, this same formula that we hear Mariel Gibson, this guy, Marion Gibson, Marlon, I'm sorry, Marlon Gibson. Do you think if we follow the three Ps, it's possible to reach our goals?
I think so. And Gibson has given us the answer.
Hmm.
It's a good answer. If people follow what he's done, I think they automatically will. I think their dream will automatically come true.
Talk about the first one then, Jackie. What does persistence mean? What do you think persistence, how do you think
Endurance.
persistence applies? Yeah. So it means
Endurance.
endurance. Uh-huh.
Yes.
So in what sense was Marlon persistent, do you think? What kind of persistence and endurance did he have to show? Based on what we know about him, he said his father would eat everything and never gain weight, right? He said that
Yeah.
my dad would get kicked out of buffets. Buffets are restaurants where you can go and eat anything and everything, right?
Yes.
And his father would get kicked out because this guy's just eating and eating and eating and he's not fat, right? His mother loved to eat but never gained weight, right? So he was in this family where food was such a big part of their life. And he said, for example, I never met a sweet I didn't like, right? So
Yes.
he ate everything. So what kind of persistence do you think he needed?
He needed.
But for example, what kind of it? Do you think it was persistence in, did he have to endure maybe eating healthy food, maybe exercising? I mean, what kinds of issues did he have to face, do you think?
I think he was exercising regularly, and he didn't pay attention to his father, for example.
Hmm.
He didn't feel jealous, so he had a work to do, and he followed it.
And he followed it, right? And
Yes.
what was his inspiration, Jose? What did he say his inspiration was for losing weight? I mean, what was one of the biggest things that really got him excited and motivated to lose weight?
Was about his wife. She told him about to something about to. Well, she was very worried about him,
Hmm.
and I think that he felt like a loser for his
Hmm.
weight, and so he realized that he had to do something about this.
Absolutely, right? So that was a big inspiration for him. And he did mention one other thing, guys. I may have kind of quickly read that part, but maybe Ulisa, did you hear about the other thing that he mentioned that he really loved to do when he was a child, that because of his weight, it was difficult for him to maintain his love for this pastime or for this hobby of his. He did say so. He said in the second paragraph. What does he say in the second paragraph?
1, 2. Even back then, I was able to look clothes.
Uh-huh. That's what really keeps me honest with all this weight loss. I want to go to the mall to buy more than socks, right? So what was another one of his motivations? His wife, definitely, but what was another one?
The shopping.
Yeah, right. He wants to be able to buy clothes that normal people can wear,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe when his weight was so high, when he was so heavy, he wasn't able to do anything. If he went to the store, he couldn't buy the normal clothes. That's why I think he's joking when he's saying, I wanted to go to the mall to buy more than just socks. Back in those days, he could only buy socks. He couldn't buy a jacket or anything,
Jeans.
jeans, or yeah, any normal clothing because of his size, right? So he had two inspirations. He had his wife, and he also had his love of clothes and other things like that, right? So we mentioned the first P was persistence, right? And Jackie explained that also endurance is a big part of that. Jose, would you be able to talk about passion? Passion was the second P, right? What do you think? Do you think it's possible for somebody, maybe in this case Marlon had this example, but do you think that how can a person's passion help them achieve a goal?
Well, if you choose very careful your goal, if it's something that you really like, really enjoy, of course, it's very likely that you will achieve your goal, that you will succeed and everything, and you will be able to work with much passion in this, of course, because you really like it. You
Hmm.
can you can be very passionate about this.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be necessarily about weight loss, right? It can be about anything that you're passionate about, right? Maybe someone is very passionate about becoming a scientist or becoming whatever, like in their career, right, or many other things. So if you have the passion, yeah, I think I would agree with you. Jackie, would you agree with Jose about passion, about the importance of passion?
Yes, apparently, yes.
So it's something that is a driving force, right? It really helps us achieve our goals if we have that passion. And Yulisa, I'm going to ask you about the third P and then ask some other questions. So the third P that Marlon mentioned was perseverance, right? What is perseverance and what is the importance of perseverance?
Perseverance. Well, I guess it's the strength that you can have to not give up so easily or to continue even if you find some obstacles in your way. Just try to persevere and
Fantastic.
keep going. You can do
Absolutely.
it.
Go ahead, keep going.
I said you can do it.
Exactly, you can do it, right? So if somebody is willing to persevere, right, that what Yulisa said was 100% correct. Being able to cross the obstacles that somebody puts in front of you, or that life is putting in front of you, or your situation is putting in front of you, right? You are going beyond those obstacles, right? So Claudio, we have looked at these three P's, right? I mean, how do you think uh, Marlon, this guy who lost all this weight, how do you think he serves as a positive inspiration for other people? I mean, if he does he do you think he inspires people just with this story, or maybe with his philosophy, with his personal experience, with this philosophy of three P's? How do you think he inspires people?
I don't know. In my opinion, his stories inspire the people because maybe if he had no history to call it us, maybe we we are not here to discussing about his life because just philosophy don't build anything.
Hmm.
I think that philosophy with action, building some things. And but sometimes you, sometimes I or anybody could 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 work and could try to build and could try to arrive in a place, but sometimes I don't know if it could be possible for any people. But in my opinion, the history of his guy is the more important because he have a perseverance. I don't know. I really believe in the perseverance.
Hmm.
By the three P's, I believe in the perseverance because I could short the history in a one P. Perseverance, in my opinion, is a kind of faith, and if you have faith, you will have persistence and passion and perseverance.
Fantastic.
It's a kind of P. Perseverance is a good P. So it's another way to see the same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, you know, when I was reading this article, guys, I thought, personally, in terms of all of these goals that people have for each other, this guy, his goal was weight loss. His goal was achieving, his dream, maybe for his wife, maybe for his own love of clothing or his own lifestyle. I mean, his own health, right? One of the things we mentioned, or that the news article mentions, is that he doesn't have high blood pressure anymore. He doesn't have to worry about taking medications that he took when he was overweight, right? Things are a lot easier for him now as an individual in his health and in his personal well-being because of his weight loss, right? But as I was thinking about this guy's story, a fourth P came to my mind, right? A fourth P came to my mind. And I think this fourth P is pain, right? Is
Mm.
is pain something that may affect people who have persistence and passion and perseverance? Is pain a part of reaching your goal? Jackie, what do you think?
I agree with you
How
because
come?
I think when he was, for example, when he was in the course of reaching his goal, he
Mm-hmm.
used to deprive himself of many things, many food, for example,
Mm-hmm.
even if he liked it,
Mm-hmm.
even if he loved it, he didn't have to take it. And I think he felt some kind of pain while doing this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, right? Pain in the sense that he had to maybe deprive himself of food. That's a good
Yeah,
example. What's another way he could have maybe felt pain? Jose, do you agree that maybe pain is another P that we have to consider?
Yes, of course, because you have to achieve a goal. You have to be very perseverance to not to surrender, not to give up
Uh-huh.
when things went wrong. Maybe there will be some obstacles, some problem. We can defend and pain in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not passionate about this, if you not have the perseverance enough, you will give up. So you have to consider that the path to toward your goal will have some times about pain.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's another ingredient, right? We say in English, no pain, no gain, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you guys have heard of that phrase, right? Oh yeah, Ulisa already wrote it. I didn't even read that, Ulisa. I was just focusing on the conversation. But no, fantastic, right? Just like the expression, no pain, no gain. So would you be able to explain, Ulisa? I think when I mentioned pain, you were agreeing to what the other guys were saying also. Would you agree? I mean, how is pain a part of this experience, a part of this transformation?
Yes, I think that for this man, it had taken a lot of effort, probably sometimes saying no when someone invited him some delicious meal or something.
Mm-hmm.
How to be uh, strength with himself to have the voluntad. I don't know.
Willing.
Okay,
To have the what? I'm sorry.
voluntad,
To have the voluntad, the
Willing.
volition, maybe.
The will, I think. The
The
will.
will, the
the
will.
will,
Yeah. Okay. Great. Great. Great.
the will of not saying, "Oh yeah, I want to eat." Oh, keep going. And I think this it happens in everything that we want to achieve. For example, in the case of English, our pain can be, for example, the embarrassment that sometimes we feel when we have to speak, or our pronunciation is not correct. But we are learning. That in that way we are learning more and more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys have brought up so many good points in this lecture about P's, passion, perseverance, persistence, all of these things, and maybe even including pain. It's a nice mixture, right? I mean, even I think for Marlon, for this guy, I think a lot of his maybe the pain could have also come from the multiple exercises that he had to do. I mean, just physically thinking about the amount of energy and willpower, voluntad that was necessary for him to lose 111 kilos. That is, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? Most people don't weigh 111 kilos. Most people weigh much less than that. This guy lost that much weight, and he's still keeping it off, and he looks great. His health is so much better. So really, just a great inspiration for us, I think. Um, any questions, guys? Unfortunately, we do have to end the class now because I have another class that's starting right now. Saturdays for me are marathons. I have 3 hours back to back. So that's why I'm going to have to head to my next class. But did we have any questions about adjectives in this class, or about this story, or the 3 Ps that we looked at, or anything else that you guys wanted to talk about?
Oh, I'm okay. Around.
Okay,
Thank you.
Claudio, you're welcome. You're welcome. And what about the rest of you guys? Jackie, Jose, Ulisa?
It was clear.
It's clear you got it? Okay.
No, just to wish you good luck with your Kalinkaton.
Awesome, thank you. And Jackie, everything's good? I think Jackie might have left. In any case, so yeah, guys, I have another class starting right now. You guys are more than welcome to join it as well. I think that the subject is going to be.
Yes, everything is great.
Everything's great,
Thank
Jackie.
you.
Yeah, no problem, Jackie. So my next class is going to start right now, and it's about microbes in Antarctica. So it's a science and technology class. Hopefully you guys can join. Otherwise, I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for a great class.
Thank you, Farhan. See you.
I think.
Yep. See you later, guys. Take care,
Bye-bye.
Till
everyone.
next time, everyone.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye. I mean to say that the people didn't think she was going to vote? Or
Yes.
The
Um,
action plans?
oh, her platform, maybe her platform.
no, the poll. On
The
on the
poll, okay.
polls, yes, she
On a poll.
was. Yeah, she was at the bottom of the poll because there was this woman, Lourdes Flores, and another competitor. And a few when the election was very close, this other competitor had to leave the competition, and many people started to vote for her. So suddenly she doesn't know how she founded the city hall. Now she's the mayor, and nobody now knows how
Nobody
she
knows.
got in there.
Ay.
So she didn't expect it to be the mayor. So she didn't have a very good team, and now these are the consequences. We have to pay the consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about corruption. It's not about nothing at all. It's only that she's inefficient. Don't know what it
There
has
was
to
a better
do.
option.
Really?
There were 2 women that were postulate. postulating.
That were running for the
Yeah,
office.
they were running.
Uh-huh.
I vote for the other one, but
Lourdes Flores.
yeah,
Lourdes
Yeah,
Flores.
me
but there
too.
was a bad campaign against her, and then at the end it won the other lady.
Susana Villarán doesn't seem very like she doesn't seem like she's a very like a leader woman. She seems very like just a normal person.
Well, what happens that she has no experience in this kind of activities.
Uh-huh.
She, we can say that she found the mayor, the city hall. She was not in the plots, in the, how to say, when you ask the people to asking what are they going to vote.
So she wasn't in the ballot, maybe. She wasn't on the original. Do you mean
That's it.
Mm. But
she's not efficient?
she's doing, I guess, some good things about the cultural aspect of the city. That's great. She's doing also some social help. That's also great. But we need also infrastructure. I have problems with that word.
Infrastructure, uh-huh. No, you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a more efficient work. So that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, if I talk about my own country, Bangladesh, I think we are trying to make our first metro. We don't even have half a line.
No, what country?
No. If in my parents are from a country called Bangladesh, right?
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Sorry for the confusion.
no, it's not the U.S., but my country, as in where my parents are from, my heritage, right? All from this country, Bangladesh. We have so many people in our capital city. Our capital city is called Dhaka. Dhaka. It's a little bit. We have different sounds. So DH makes a dha sound, which is not in other languages. Dha, so Dhaka, and yeah, we have maybe 20 million people in the city,
Oh
and
my,
we are.
and we are proud of it.
I find it so like interesting that I mean Lima is a such a large city, right? Such a large population, and still maybe there are things that are waiting to happen for the service to begin in official format. But I'm also reading about El Metropolitano, which is the bus system, right?
Oh yeah, it's some kind of, well, it's based on buses, but with um, exclusive highway.
Mm-hmm.
Only these buses can only these buses can can run or
Drive on
can
those, travel on
can drive
those.
on,
Uh-huh.
yeah, can drive on this on those highways.
Mm-hmm.
And if you car in that, you will have a ticket, maybe $100 or $200,
Oh wow.
maybe more. Yes, it's exclusive for this. Just for ambulance, maybe, or for the police, or something special, but only for those. And it's supposed to, we should have 7 lines of
Mm-hmm.
the of this kind of buses, and we have one again. And it's supposed that this current mayor, have to build one, but she
Mm-hmm.
didn't. She didn't because, well, she's don't know how to. No, it's not to be lazy, but she's not efficient.
She's not efficient.
She's not efficient.
Uh-huh. Nicolás de Rivera? No, that's the first guy ever. Susana Villarán de la Puente.
Yeah, this is our mayor,
No.
and yeah, the previous mayor was another one, Luis Castañeda.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm not his fan, but of course he was more efficient. Well,
Uh-huh.
anyone could be more efficient than this one.
Ah.
So we're hoping to this year end very fast and have a new mayor soon. Doesn't matter who, but please another mayor.
Susana is the first female mayor of Lima.
Yes,
Yep.
but